Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Chairman, for the time. My first slide that I wanted to present here is one that I think is very, very important when we talk about water going out into the ocean. The first bar there, the dark blue one, is how much water was flowing through the estuary this past year. The second bar is actually a little bit of an exaggeration. If we took every single reservoir that we propose in this bill, multiplied it by 10 times the amount of storage that we're proposing, we still wouldn't use all that water. There would still be quite a bit of water flowing out into the ocean. So we're taking 10 proposed, multiply every single project times 10, and we still don't fill those up, or we still don't use up all the water. So there was a lot of water wasted this year alone that we had the opportunity to capture if this bill had been presented earlier or passed into law, and we've had the opportunity to actually make a difference. Why does that make a difference to so many folks? It makes a difference because the Central Valley is very important to the country. We feed the nation. When you look at all the different commodities, and this is just a small sample, we produce over 400 different commodities. And a lot of these, a big majority, some of them as much as 99% of the different commodities that go through. And so everyone sitting at home around the country should pay attention because this affects their food supply. Even here in the Capitol, when you make yourself a salad at the salad bar, those salads, all those different products are produced mostly in the Central Valley. And so that's why this legislation is so important. The reason why it's important to my farmers to get this done, even in a year like this where we had a 200% rainfall with the amount of water that was flowing through that was, again, in my opinion, wasted, they didn't find out until it was too late. Planning decisions need to be made over at the beginning of this when the rain is coming down and they know that the water is there, not in March or April, because the opportunity has been passed. Farmers are very optimistic people. They put stuff in the ground, cover it with dirt, and hope that it'll grow so they can feed the world. But having them to wait until April to make those decisions, to plant those commodities and create those jobs is just way too late. Now, the one that I think is the most important. This is Mendota, California. This is a farm worker. This is what happens when we allow water to flow out into the ocean as wasted. People are living in shanty towns. These are people who want to work and people who want to feed the world, people who want to provide for their own families and not wait for a check from the government. They just want to know when they're getting their water and so that they can start to produce crops and feed the world. But this, because of the policies through Washington, D.C., is what we end up with. Now, all the folks that represent parts of my community in different ways, if it's water districts, cities, city councils, county governments, have all sent in letters of support. And I ask for unanimous consent to add these to the record.
By general leave. What's that? It will be covered by general leave.
It will be covered by general leave.
All right. But all letters of support from all the different communities, all the different people in my district and throughout California who are very supportive of this bill. I think we need to have good, sound policy. I think it's time for the governor and our senators to play a role in this as well. This bill has been passed. We've gotten some things passed in the and I know that my friend across the aisle mentioned that earlier, but even after the WIN Act was passed into law, we still had a delay in decisions made because our farmers had no clue that they were getting their water. And so we have to pass legislation like this bill right here, and this is what can be helpful for us in the Central Valley and California and the nation as a whole. So thank you, and I yield back.